Namaskaram to all. The last session, we saw the different aspects of the Vigraham. Especially, we saw the Sthanaka Moorthi, that is the Vishnu in a standing posture, and we inferred different aspects of the Vigrahams of Vishnu that we see in different temples. Today, taking it ahead, one of the other aspects that you also see of the Vishnu Vigraham, and this is a very speciality of the temples in Kerala. What you see here is the Moorthi on the left side of Vilvadrinathan, Thiruvilvamalai Vilvadrinathan. This is actually a temple dedicated to Rama. But you would see, if you look at the different aspects of the Vigraham, it is exactly the Chaturbuja Vigraham of Narayana. So just like in Guruvayur, you have the exact Chaturbuja Vigraham of Narayana, but treated or considered to be an avatar of Krishna or in the form of Krishna. Here also it is an exactly Chaturbuja Vigraham of Narayana with Shankha Chakra Gada Padmam, but treated as an Amsha of Rama. So Rama is the deity that is invoked in this Vigraham. On the right side that you see is the famous Triprayar temple in Kerala. These are among the few Rama temples that we have in Kerala. So the Triprayar Rama Moorthi, the Vigraham, if you see, this hand that I am showing here holds the chakram. This actually holds the shankha. This hand holds the kodandam or a staff. And this hand holds an akshamala. You have the chakram, you have the shankha, you have the kodandam or the bow, and you have the akshamala or the rosary beads. The akshamala rosary bead is an indicative of Brahma, the creator. So in a way, it is indicative of the creative aspect of the Moorthi. So the Padma, which is typically seen in the Vigrahams of Vishnu, which indicates the creation aspect or the creative aspect, gets replaced by the rosary or akshamala in the Moorthi of Triprayar Raman. And instead of the Gada, you have the Kodanda. Because it is Rama, you have the Kodanda Pani. You have the bow that is given here as an additional weapon instead of the Gada. But the Kodandam is actually representative of Shiva. You can actually see the different Vedic references. Shiva is actually a deity who is represented with the bow and the arrow, not with the Trishula. The Vedic references come with the bow and the arrow. So the Kodandam, though it definitely applies to Rama, because Rama is the deity that we know who carries the Kodandam or the bow, in the Vedic reference it actually represents Shiva, and hence is also one of the Ayudhas representing destruction, replacing the Gada. So the Gada which we saw earlier was a symbol of destruction or Laya. This is what gets replaced. So the Shankha Chakra remaining as it is, but they have changed hands. The hands, the different bhujas are holding the Shankha Chakra. Still the Gada and Padma aspects are still maintained, but in different forms of rosary and the Kodandam. And the Kodandam becomes very apt since this Moorthi is representing Rama. So these are some images of Shiva. This you find different sculptures in different temples where Shiva is burning the Tripura, the three cities, the Tripura Dahanam, Tripurantaka Moorthi, one who burned the three cities. You can find the Kodandam or the bow and the arrow that Shiva holds to burn the three cities. And similarly, here also you can see the Kodandam and the arrow, and Shiva riding on a chariot with these as the primary weapons. In the Rudram also we chant on Rudra, on Shiva, as Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha, Namaste Astudhanvane Bahubhyam Utate Namaha, Yata Ishuhu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu, Shiva Sharavyaya Tatavatayano Rudram Radaya. So may your bow be auspicious to us, be pleasing to us. May your arrows be pleasing to us. That means may you not kill us with your bow and arrow. So Shiva is clearly represented with the bow and arrow in the Vedic references. So this is the attribute that gets transformed into Rama when we speak about the Rama Avatara. Now, we spoke about Rama in Triprayar, the different features of this Rama. Now, in Kerala, you have 4 temples called as Nalambalam. Okay, so these 4 temples represent the 4 brothers, that is Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, or 4 aspects of Vishnu. Because even in the Ramayana, each of these 4 aspects, each of these 4 brothers are described as aspects of Vishnu itself. Vishnorardham Mahabhagam, Vishnorardham they're all coming from different aspects of Vishnu itself. So, this is the Rama Vigraham, Rama Moorthi in Triprayar. This is the Bharata Moorthi in Kudal Manikyam, Irinyalakuda, Sangameshwara Swami. He is also known as Sangameshwara Swami. But this Moorthi is of Bharata. So if you look at the Moorthi by itself, you will not find many differences. They will all be with 4 hands. All the 4 Moorthis of the 4 brothers will be with 4 hands. But the conception or the Amsha that is there in the Moorthi, which is divined by the Sthapatis, by the architects, by the Shilpis, they are given different powers, or they sense different sensibilities in these Moorthis. That is how they define the Amsha of the Vigraha, not necessarily by the form of the Vigraha. So here you see the Bharata, exactly the same Ayudhas that Rama has, is exactly the same kind of Ayudhas that Bharata also has. He also holds the Shankha, the Chakra, the Kodandam, and the Akshamala. And this can be related to the fact of even the Ramayana, where Rama and Bharata are extremely close to each other and they resemble each other in many, many ways. Even for the Rajyam, it is Rama versus Bharata. It is Rama equivalent to Bharata. When Rama went to the forest, Bharata rules Ayodhya. So Rama and Bharata are extremely close and they are considered to be nearly and very born very few minutes apart. So they are considered to be nearly equivalent to each other. So that is why even in the Moorthis you find this kind of a resemblance. See, this is how the Moorthi or the Vigraham, the special aspects of the Moorthi can also be related to the literature. So that is why the knowledge of literature is also equally important for us to be able to relate these aspects to that of the literature. Coming to Lakshmana, the Lakshmana Moorthi is exactly like a normal Chaturbhuja Narayana Vigraham, Shankha Chakra Gada Padmam. All the 4 aspects are as it is. But you would notice that the sequence becomes different for Lakshmana. Here the normal Moorthis we saw the Shankha Chakram in these hands, whereas here you would find them exactly reversed, and same with the Gada Padma. You would find them as an exact mirror image of the normal Narayana Moorthi that you see. And if you look at Shatrughna, it's even more interesting. See, Shatrughna and Lakshmana, if you look at these images itself, you can say that they are mirror images of each other. The Chakra, the Shankha, the Padma, and the Gada. And the Ramayana says that these Lakshmana and Shatrughna were born as twins. They were born in the Ahilya Nakshatram, they were born as twins. So they are replica of each other. They complement each other. They become the mirror images of each other, is symbolically indicated in the Vigrahams itself. And that's the beauty of these Vigrahams. So this is what we see in the Nalambalam, the 4 temples of Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna in Kerala. More about the temples when we speak in detail about the temples in the later episodes. But right now we are just focusing on the Vigraham part. So these are all Chaturbhuja Narayana Vigrahams. And this is the speciality of many of the temples in Kerala. The idol by itself may not have any differences. Like we said in Guruvayur also it's a Chaturbhuja Vigraham. Lakshmana Shatrughna is also a Chaturbhuja Vigraham. They are also having Shankha Chakra Gada Padmam. The Guruvayur idol also has Shankha Chakra Gada Padmam. Then how do you differentiate? How do you say that that is Krishna and this is Lakshmana and this is Shatrughna? That is the sense or the amsham that the Sthapatis and the Tantris and the other people who are initiated into this, they sense when they are doing the puja, when they see the Vigraham, when they do the Prana Pratishtha of the Vigraham and all, they sense these kind of vibrations from that idol. And based on these vibrations is what they decide that this should be the predominant amsha, or this must be the predominant aspect of this Vigraha. Whereas, very contrary to this, in the Vigrahams that you see in Tamil Nadu and to great extent even in Andhra and Karnataka, you will find that the Vigraham itself will be different to differentiate the different aspects. Like, for example, Nataraja, if you take, there will be different poses of Nataraja, with the left leg and the right leg will be very different, and that will be depicted in the Vigraham itself. Same is the case even with the different aspects of the Narayana Vigrahams. So there also that is there, but it is more pronounced in the Vigrahams that you see in the temples in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra. Now this is all about the Sthanaka Moorthi, or the standing posture of Vishnu. Now let's come to the second. What do you see? You see Vishnu in a seated posture. So this is called Asana. That is the second kind of Vigrahams of Vishnu that you see. Seated posture, 4 hands. Shankha Chakram is definitely there. So more or less we can infer that Shankha Chakra is a predominant aspect of Vishnu Vigrahams. That is what we have been seeing, except for very few areas where there are exceptions where the Shankha Chakra is absent. In most of the cases we find the Shankha Chakra. So it is still a Chaturbhuja Vigraham. But Shankha Chakra alone is there. There is no Gada Padmam, right? So the creation and the destruction aspect is not predominantly there. The predominant aspects are those of preservation, which is Chakra, and liberation, that is Shankha. So preservation, which is what Vishnu is typically associated with, is represented by the Chakra, and the liberation aspect is represented by the Shankha. And this posture, more than the standing posture is more of dignified form where the Lord is immediately ready to help his devotees. You know, that kind of readiness is seen in that Vigraham. The seated Vigrahas or the seated postures are more of Saukhyam. They are more at ease. They are more of luxury that you see in the seated Vigrahams of Vishnu. So this is actually, this image is that of, it's conceptualized of Vishnu in the Paramapadam, in the highest place of Vaikuntham. How Vishnu will be at Vaikuntham. In Paramapadam, this is the conceptualization of Vishnu at Vaikuntham, where he is sitting with the Ananta, on the Ananta. He is seated on the Ananta with Shankha Chakram, and see his posture with one leg raised, kept on Ananta, and the second leg is kept floating on the ground, is laid down to the ground. And he is very relaxing, in a very relaxed way. He keeps one hand over the raised leg and the second hand is over the other thigh or the other leg. So he's in a very relaxed posture. A very similar form is what you see of the Tripunitara temple of Purnatrayeshwarar. So the Purnatrayeshwara temple in Tripunitara in Kerala, it's near Ernakulam, is a very, very similar Vigraham. Again, you see the Lord seated in Ananta, the same posture that you see of the Lord in as conceptualized in Vaikuntha. The only difference being that he holds a lotus or a Padma in one of the hands, where here it is more free. Here he still holds the lotus, the Padma, so the creative aspect is still held on by the Lord. And the remaining, the other hand is kept relaxed, in a relaxed posture on Ananta. So this is a Purnatrayeshwara temple. Here the Lord is also conceptualized as Santana Gopala Swami. So more about this we will deal with when we come to the temple itself. The next feature, so one feature we saw of the Lord seated in a very relaxed posture with one leg raised and one leg down. Now this is a feature of the Lord who is again seated, but there is no Ananta here. He is simply seated in Padmasanam. So he is seated in a more of a yogic posture. So there is luxury or ease in the earlier posture that we saw. Now it comes to more of a meditative or yogic posture. He still has a Shankha Chakram, but he is more of a yogic, more of a yogi. So this is the form of the Lord that you see in Badrinath. The Lord of Badri, it's conceptualized as Nara Narayana. The Nara being Arjuna and Narayana being Vishnu. Both of them meditated, the sages meditated there, and this is the aspect of Narayana in the meditative pose as a yogi. That is why you see this Padmasana. And the Dhyana Shlokam, which is penned by Sri Vadiraja Tirtha, Hastadvandvaka Chakra Shankha Ruchiram. In the two hands, he is holding the Shankha and Chakra. Padmasanastham. He is seated in Padmasana. Narada Mukhya Yogi Nikaraihi Samsevyamanam. He is worshipped by the great yogis led by Narada. You can see here the image of Narada as well. The other images we will come to later when we deal with the temples. Right now we are just looking at the Vigrahams of Vishnu itself. So he is venerated by all the yogis, hence he is represented here as a yogi varya. That is what this posture indicates. The posture, seated posture with Padmasanam and the hands placed in the meditative pose on the legs, indicates the Padmasana posture, which is a yogic posture. The Lord being the bestower of yoga or the highest form of meditation. So this is what we see in Badrinath. Most suited to grant the ultimate Purushartha of moksha. Now the other seated postures of the Lord. Now comes the more standard forms of the seated posture, is where the Lord raises up one of his legs folded and the other leg in a floating way on the ground. So he keeps one leg open and the one leg is folded and kept above. So this is the Vigraham of Kudal Alagar in Madurai. So the Lord is seated on the Ananta. He has got the Shankha Chakram, just like we saw in the Vaikuntha, the Lord of Vaikunta, of Paramapadam. But the remaining two hands are not free. One of the hands is in the Abhaya Mudra, providing Abhaya or fearlessness to the devotees. And the other hand is in Chin Mudra. This is a very rare form of the Vigraham. Chin Mudra is actually the indicator, is typically the Mudra of Guru. When we speak about Dakshinamurti, we speak about the Chin Mudra. So the Guru who is giving the ultimate knowledge, his Mudra is Chin Mudra. The Mudra where the thumb indicates the Paramatma and the index finger indicates the Jivatma. And the joining of the two fingers indicates the joining of the Jivatma with the Paramatma. That is the ultimate liberation. That is indicated by the Chin Mudra. So here Vishnu, here the Lord is in the form of, he's holding the Chin Mudra. That means he can provide that ultimate liberation as well as Abhayam or fearlessness, indicated by this beautiful form of the Kudal Alagar. The other form, which is quite similar but still different, is that of Pandava Duta Perumal. Here, the first difference that we see is, first of all, there is no Adisheshan or Ananta. The four hands become two hands. And no Ayudha at all. He just goes without Ayudha. One in Varada Mudra and one hand in Abhaya Mudra. And the legs are folded, one above and one below. Now these also change with Vigraham. Which leg is folded up and which leg is kept down. So these key also keep changing from Vigraham to Vigraham. I'm not sure if they have any specific or special significance of which leg is kept up. But the hands of Varada and Abhaya, which we already know, the Varada Mudra is more to bestow the boons and Abhaya Mudra is to provide fearlessness. Because he is a Pandava Duta Perumal, here the Lord is visualized as the one who went as the messenger of the Pandavas to Duryodhana and the Sabha. So he's gone without any Ayudha. He's gone without any weapons. He's gone just as a Duta or a messenger. So that's why we see no Ayudha with the Lord. So this is one of the rare idols of the Lord without the Shankha Chakram, but still having the aspect of Vishnu, but still a Vishnu Vigraha. So these are the different aspects of the Asina Vigrahams or the forms of the Lord where he's seated. There are many more. This I have just taken up the few major ones. Now we come to the next form of the Lord. What does this form of the Lord indicate? Sleeping posture or the Shayana Vigraha with four hands, Chaturbhujam. Definitely they hold the Shankha and Chakram. And most probably in the Shayana posture, the other two hands will not, in most cases, hold any Ayudha. Shankha Chakram will be there. The remaining two hands in most cases will be without any Ayudha or without any weapon. Because typically one of the hands is used for the Lord to rest as his armrest, and the other hand is typically placed on his thigh, placed across his leg. So in a very relaxed posture. So you can see that the progression is from Sthanaka, standing where he is just ready. At any point of time, he can help the devotees, to Asina, where he is a bit more relaxed and he exudes Saukhyam, to Shayana, where he is completely relaxed It indicates complete saukyam and luxury. This is where more often it is related to yoga nidra of the Lord. That is the sleep of the Lord, especially from the Ashada Ekadashi to the Kartiki Ekadashi, the 4 months when the Lord Vishnu is said to go on sleep. So this is the yoga nidra, the nidra of the Lord that is depicted in the Shayana posture. And in most cases, he is lying on the Ananta, the Adishesha, and from his navel, a Padma, a lotus comes, is sprouting up, and on that lotus sits Brahma. So this form of the Lord, though he doesn't hold the Padma like in the Sthanaka Moorthi, he is still a master of creation, because he is indicating that the very basis of Brahma has come from him, from his navel, and there Brahma sits as the creator of the universe. So the creative aspect is also included in this Vigraham. And this is generally the Vigraham that is perceived in Tirupparkadal. So we saw the 5 forms of Vishnu: Para, Vyuha, Vibhava, Antaryami, and Archa. That Para was in Vaikuntham or Paramapadam. That is what is represented in the Asina Vigraham. The Vyuha or the Tirupparkadal, that is lying in the Kshetrāṭanam, the ocean, Milky Ocean, is what is indicated by the Lord sleeping on Ananta and in the reclining posture. Okay, so here both the sustaining aspects as well as the creative aspect of the Lord is also combined in this Shayana posture in most of the times. Generally, there are many forms that are there in the Shayana posture, but typically we find 7 forms that are generally seen in the Shayana posture. This is the most famous. All of us would very easily recognize this to be the Ananta Padmanabha. Ananta Padmanabha posture of the Lord, which is seen in the Padmanabha Swami temple in Trivandrum, in Thiruvananthapuram. Here, the beauty of the form of the Lord, you can see that most of the features are the same. He is also lying in the Ananta, but there is no Chaturbuja Vigraham. It is a Dvibhuja Vigraham. Only 2 hands the Lord has. There is no Shankha Chakram. He's lying down with 2 hands. One hand, though, is holding the Padma. One hand is holding the Padma. The other hand is actually worshipping Shiva. It's a very, very unique Vigraham that you find in Trivandrum, in Ananta Padmanabha Swami. The other hand is worshipping Shiva. And you have the Padmam or the lotus sprouting from the navel and Brahma on top. So it is a very unique Vigraham which is considered as a combination of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, of the Trimurtis clubbed into one. So all the aspects of the Lord is indicated in this. And the way the Lord is sleeping, you can see, is Parama Saukyam. Completely, as we would lie down to sleep with our back completely lying down with no intention of getting up anytime soon, and with half closed eyes. So really in Yoga Nidra with no intention of getting up anytime soon. That is the form of the Lord that you see in Trivandrum or Thiruvananthapuram. It's called Ananta Shayanam. So this is one of the 7 forms. Other is the Utthana Shayanam. So the Utthana Shayana Perumal is slightly raised. He is not exactly completely sleeping like Ananta Shayanam, but he is slightly raised with the intention of getting up. The moment the devotee calls him, he is ready to get up and go. So he is slightly raised. He is still lying on the Ananta. He also has only 2 hands. One hand is used as his armrest, and the other hand is placed on across the leg. So it is still a very, very relaxed posture, but in a slightly raised form. That is why it is called as Utthana Shayana Perumal. The third is a Bhujanga Shayana Perumal, which is what you find in the famous Srirangam temple, the Ranganatha Swami. Ranganathan is in Bhujanga Shayanam. So definitely here also he is lying on Ananta, but it's not as raised as possibly the Utthana Shayana Perumal. It's slightly more relaxed, but not as relaxed as Ananta Shayana, so it's somewhere midway. He is using one of these hands as armrest and the other hand placed across his legs. So slightly tilted position, but not as raised as Uttana Shayana Perumal. The Alvar, he describes the form of this Lord. Udishai Mudiyai Vaitu, Unadishai Padam Neeti, Vadadishai Pinbu Kaatti, Tendishai Ilangai Nokki. So he is describing what parts of the Lord are facing what directions. So he is showing his back to the north and he is showing his face, his front to the south. That means he is lying down seeing the southern direction in order to bless Vibhishana. We'll come to those stories when we actually deal with the Mahatmyam of Srirangam temple. And he is lying in this posture, seeing the southern direction. And that's what you see in this. Again, there is no Shankha Chakram that you see in the Moolavar, in the Moola Moorthi. This is the Stalashayana Perumal. The Stalashayana Perumal, now there is no Bhujangam. There is no Ananta on whom he is lying. Until now, we saw all the forms of Vishnu who is lying on Ananta. Now, this is no more lying on Ananta. He is just lying across on the floor or across with a particular armrest. He has got 4 arms, Chaturbhujam, but there is no Ayudham. He is just with 4 hands. He has got 4 hands, but with no specific Ayudham or weapons. And no Ananta. The other forms of the Lord are Darbashayana Perumal, who is lying on Darba, Tirupullani, which is related to the Rama Avatara. When Rama sat for 3 nights on Darba grass waiting for Varuna to come and worship him and give him way to cross to Lanka. So to commemorate that or to link up to that is what you have the Darbashayana Perumal in Tirupullani near Rameshwaram. Vatapatra Shayi Perumal, who is on Vatapatra rather than on Bhujanga. So these are the other different forms of the Lord that you see in the Shayana posture. Now we saw the Sthanaka, the standing, the seated Vishnu and the lying down Vishnu. A very unique form, which you can say is a form of a standing Vishnu, but it's not completely standing, is the Trivikrama Perumal in Sirgari. Okay, and similar forms, that of Trivikrama. Here, what do you see the form of the Lord? You see the form of the Lord where he is in vertical posture, definitely, but he has got one of his feet is raised. One feet is on the ground and the other feet is actually raised at either 90 or more than 90 degrees. He has got 4 hands, which definitely have the Shankha and the Chakram. The other 2 hands will have different mudras in different Vigrahams. It is a Virat Swarupa. It's a huge Vigraham that you see. It indicates hugeness or grandeur, a Virat nature of the Lord. And this is the form of the Lord that you see in the Vedas. Actually, the Vedic Vishnu is represented in this form. In none of the other forms, Sthanaka, Asina or Shayana, these Vishnu Vigrahams or references to this we will never get in the Vedas. The Vedic Vishnu is described as a Vishnu who had 3 strides. With 3 strides, he conquered the earth, the heavens, and the other worlds. Vishnornukam viryani pravocanya parthivani vimamera jagumsi yo askabha yaduttaragum sudhastam vijakramanastrethorugāyo tatat vishnustavate viryena mrigona bhimakkucharo girishthāha yasyorushu trishu vikramaneshu adhikshiyanti bhuvanani vishvā. Trishu vikramaneshu, with 3 strides. He is conquering the 3 worlds with 3 strides. That is the form of Vishnu, or that is the nature, function of Vishnu that is described in the Vedas. So this is the Vedic representation of Vishnu in the form of a Vigraham. So in the Trivikrama Perumal Vigraham, you find the 2 hands holding the Shankha Chakram. One hand has Katyavalambita posture, which we saw even for Tirupati Balaji, which indicates the protection of the devotees and crossing through the Bhavasagara. And the other hand indicating the numeral 1, saying that there is one more place for me to keep. Where do I keep? One of my foot I have placed on the ground, the other feet I have placed in the heavens, conquering the heavens. So the earth is conquered and the heavens are conquered. The 3rd feet, I need to keep it somewhere. Where do I keep it? And naturally, you know that this is related to the story of Vamana Avatara. Vamana, the Lord coming in the form of Vamana, a dwarf, and taking 3 feet of land as dana from Mahabali, and Mahabali giving that as dana, and the Lord assuming the form of Trivikrama, or a huge Virat Swarupa, measuring with 1 feet, measuring the whole of the earth, the 2nd feet measuring the whole of the heavens, and asking Mahabali, where do I keep the 3rd feet? And Mahabali offering his own head, and the Lord placing his feet on the head. So this is related to that Puranic story, and the Puranic story itself is related to the Vedic form of Vishnu, of Trivikrama, that we see. And here, this form of Trivikrama is also an Abhaya Pradana Moorthi, Sharanagati Moorthi, because the Bhagavata, you find this beautiful shlokam where Vamana, in the form of Trivikrama, tells Mahabali, Rakshishye sarvatoham tvam sanugam saparichadam sada sannihitam dhira tatramam drakshate bhavan. I will always, at all points of time, everywhere, I will always keep protecting you. This is the assurance given by the Lord when he places his feet on Mahabali. And that is the assurance that we also get by seeing this form of the Lord in the form of Trivikrama. The other Trivikrama Moorthi is the Ulagalanda Perumal in Kanchipuram. Ulag Alanda Perumal, the one who measured the worlds, literally translating Ulagalanda Perumal. Here the slight difference that you see is also the which leg is placed above. So you see this as a mirror image in terms of the leg. And both the hands, here there is no Shankha Chakram, there is no Chaturbuja Moorthi, it's a Dvibhuja Moorthi, there is no Shankha Chakram, and both the hands are indicating the one, indicating the. So actually, if you see this Moorthi, you will feel a sense of expanse, a hugeness. So both the ones indicating that I have measured both these worlds. I've measured both the earth and the heavens. The legs also indicating, and the hands also indicating that I've measured all these worlds. And if you see the leg that is placed on the earth, it is placed on the head of Mahabali. So that is also indicated in this Vigraham. And Mahabali is clearly indicated as a Vaishnava with the Nama. So the head of Mahabali is indicated here. So this is the Ulagalanda Perumal Moorthi in Kanchipuram. So this is what we had today to discuss in terms of the different forms of Vishnu, which is commonly seen in the different temples. There are many, many more Vigrahams, but we have just taken an overview of the primary or the major Vigrahams of Vishnu that we see. We will continue with this series in terms of more generic overview facts about Vigrahams and proceed to the other types of iconographies and other deities, devatas, in terms of the Vigrahams. Till then, Namaskara.